Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, my name is Matt Finch and I'm here with Run by Singers, and we're going to be looking at and singing through today some bits from Brahms Requiem. Welcome to you all. I'm just having a look through the chat, which I have at the side here, which reminds me that we're not just here in sunny Bath, but we've got people here from Germany, from America, from where else have we got? Ireland, County Kerry in Ireland, south of France, Swansea in Wales, just down the road. Lovely. Yes, I've got another new house, says Keith. If you're wondering, if you're new to this whole experience and you're wondering who I'm reading and talking to, there is a feature of chat. And if you're not necessarily yet a YouTube subscriber, somebody who's got a YouTube account, you may not be able to interact with this chat. But that's why you come here today, is to find out how we work, what things you need to get in place for next week, find out what it's going to sound like, what the experience is going to be. We have people here that have been doing, I think this is the 6th project probably that we've done with Run by Singers, and I've done with everybody. And there are other people here which are brand new in this, their first time, either with Run by Singers or their first time on an online choir. So we've got a really big group of people. And the most exciting thing is that the people that know are going to tell you lots of tips as well. Lots of tips and tricks of what they've managed and the struggles that they've had and things like that. That's all going to be in the chat as well. Today, what is the plan for today? Just so you know, and you're thinking a little bit apprehensive if you're a first time, I'm going to talk through the timetable and rehearsals and how that works. We will then have a short warm-up. We will sing around, and we will sing through 2 pieces of the Brahms. So if you're expecting to sit back and just chill out, yeah, and not do anything, you can. But we would really like you to get involved. As you can see in the chat, I've got rid of all the furniture, so later on I will be doing interpretive dance in this big space along with the Brahms. But that will be a sight to behold later on. We will also talk about how you record and how you submit. We really, really do encourage you to record your voice singing and submit, because you're part of a choir. And the great thing about the choir is you can rely on everybody else to help you produce a fantastic result. We've had some brilliant concerts, and I know there have been people who've been slightly scared about submitting their voices. Don't worry, you're part of a bigger thing. Sometimes you might feel on your own, but come to the rehearsals, read the chat, you'll see it, and people having a chat and having a giggle, so it's all there. And you will feel part of the choir and your voice will fit in. We'll also talk about the concert, and right at the end, I'll take any questions and we'll just stay chatting until we've run out of anything to say. Hopefully we're going to be about an hour. I'm just going to have a quick check through any of the other chats. Angela Paskins from Dorset, lovely to have you here. People in Cambridge. Someone in Cornwall. I went to Cornwall last week. I managed to catch a bit of sun. Thank you very much, people in Cornwall. It was beautiful. I went down to see my sister-in-law in Helston, and just a gorgeous beach. Pray Sands, Pra Sands. So many of you will have sung this piece before, and I'm just seeing a little post there from Jackie, who's obviously sung it a few times. So it's going to be a test of some memories, but hopefully the rehearsals will guide you all the way through. So how does the plan work? How do you know when to come to rehearsal? Because the times change, and you now haven't got to jump in your car and drive to rehearsal, because that doesn't happen at the moment. Certainly not here in the UK. There's a little bit of choir starting up, so we're really fingers crossed over the next few weeks. I know around the world there are different things going on in different places. But once you sign up and you start coming next week, you will be sent a timetable. And the timetable will look something like this. You'll see at the top here right at the top, we're on our introductory session, and there is a link there. And the link takes you to that session. So all the way down, this is week number 1. I feel like the weatherman. Down at the bottom. So we have sopranos, basses, altos, and then tenors. And then on Friday, this is the end of next week, we have our tutti rehearsal, where everyone comes together. So those links are for the rehearsal, and they will remain there forever. So you can watch that rehearsal as many times as you like, in chunks. You can come live, you can come later on during the week. It's entirely your choice. The live is a little bit more fun because we do have a little bit of chat, but I know that everyone can't make all those times. You'll notice that if you look at weeks 2 and 3, I've juggled it around, so different groups are coming at different times. And there's also a Thursday evening tutti rehearsal, so keep your eyes out for that. So it does change. So get those dates in the diary, and that's the schedule as we are. So if I come back to, just moving back into the centre, there we are. Talking about rehearsals, rehearsals are taken in this lovely room with the piano behind me and also the piano that is in front of me. So hopefully you can hear that piano coming through. And I will be singing and teaching the piano and bashing that out. But you're not on your own just with me, although I'm sure you enjoy my company. You'll be singing along with our backing quartet, accompanied by the piano, in all the rehearsals. And when we have a sectional rehearsal, so it's just the altos, you will have just the alto voice really high up in the mix, which means you'll be able to really concentrate and focus on that alto part, or the tenor part, or the bass part. When we come to the Friday evening rehearsals, / Thursday, remember, you hear all 4 voices, and you can choose which you want to sing with and practice with, because they are the same timings. Sectional rehearsals are pretty jam-packed, okay? They are an hour and a half of just your part, and so you don't get to sort of sit back and relax necessarily, because we're just straight on to the next thing. We've got a lot of music to get through. Normally we have, we will get through a work. We did Gloria, Rutter Gloria, we've done Vivaldi. We managed to get through it in 2 weeks. This time we're doing it in 3 weeks because we've got a lot more to get through. So there'll be a really fast pace. But Friday nights, the tutti nights, when you all come together, that's when we've got a little bit more time and we can be a little bit more relaxed and we have a little bit more fun. And also, on Friday evenings, we're going to take a couple of minutes out in the break, and we're going to learn a little bit, a very, very small little bit, of British Sign Language. And here you might say, hang on a minute, Matt, I didn't sign up for British Sign Language. Well, you sort of have-ish. This concert that we're putting together is going to be in English, and it's also going to be in British Sign Language as well. We will have a signer in the concert, and the signer is a gentleman called Paul Whitaker, OBE nonetheless, so he'll be signing the whole concert. So it'll be in English and it will be signed. Now there are something like 2 million people in the UK who are deaf or really hard of hearing who value that signing. So I think it's really important. It's a really inclusive opportunity for us to get this wonderful work out there. So each week we will just do a tiny little bit, literally one phrase that Paul is going to teach us. And that will be on Friday. He will pop in as well and say hello. Also, we will get Richard Gowers is going to pop in. He's our pianist and organist, and he loves this work. He knows this inside out. So, yeah, he'll tell us lots about it. So those are what happens on Friday. It's a bit more chilled out. Bring a glass of wine, and it's an hour and a half. We will sing through, and we will have the recording opportunities, but it's a little bit more relaxed. In the sectional rehearsals, if you're brand new to this, thinking, when do I record? Because that's the scary bit. I know a lot of people are worried about the scary bit. Don't worry about that bit. in the sectional rehearsals, I will every now and then put up a little symbol. There it is. Can you see it up the top there? It's called a recording marker. I'll hide it again now. Boom, it's gone. When that comes up, it's like the red light in the recording studio. And that is your marker, the place that you will need to find in the video to do your recording. And some of you are thinking, I've got to find it? No. Matt and Nick do all the hard work and we'll send you a list where you just click, I want to do the alto part for movement number 4, click, and it will take you straight to that red light moment. That sounds a bit red light moment, to the recording marker. Be careful what I say. So that moment there will be the bit that you can record. Now, if you're an expert in this, Brahms, and you've sung it through millions of times, and you're like, yeah, I can record straight away, then do come to rehearsals with earphones and the mobile phones and all that stuff. But if you're like, whoa, that's a bit too much, you don't have to do it. You just sing through the rehearsal, and that's the place that you come back to in your own time, at your own pace. So at the end of our first week of rehearsals, that's when Nick will send out those red markers for all the parts of that week, and then the second week will come out, and the third week will come out. So you can start recording as soon as that comes out, really. There are a couple of weeks at the end of the project where you have some time as well to record. We've talked about how you join in on the chat. So it's really important that you can read that chat, because there's some important things going on. People have come with some different editions and things like that. For next week, you will need the edition that we're using because the English text is slightly different. So yeah, that's good. You've worked that one out. That's why we have this week introduction, to find out all those little bumps and things like that. Some of you might be reading the chat and see that there's some yellow bits. When yellow comes up, that's Nick back at Run by Singers, so he'll be answering some of those sort of technical questions as well. So we've talked about how you can join in the chat. Other things you can do in the virtual rehearsals while we're here, you can sing along with all the parts. You can sing along with all the soloists as well. I know there are some altos who've joined the tenor rehearsals and tenors that have joined the bass rehearsals, and vice versa. You can come to every single rehearsal if you wanted to, because they're all there as part of the package. So you could spend hours with me learning all the parts. You could record all the parts if you wanted to. How amazing would that be? You singing all 4 parts of the whole of Brahms Requiem. It's entirely up to you, because I won't be hearing them. You will need to probably do some rewind, pause, play again, particularly in your own time. But you can even do that now while we're in the live rehearsal. You know, there are 70 odd of you now watching. You can pause and you can catch up. So that's absolutely, that's easily done. And you won't miss out on anything at all. Of course, you can wear your pyjamas. You can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning like somebody has already, or 4 o'clock. You can wear whatever you like. You turn up. You can have your cup of tea. I've got mine. Got my cup of tea. Mr. Wonderful. Inside it's got a message just for me, but I won't share that one. You can bring a cup of tea. If you get it wrong, don't worry. You can come back to it. When you record, if there's a few little moments that it's not quite right, don't worry about it. Our sound engineer has some amazing things that he can do. So that's all good. You can chat and ask questions as we're going through. If you're asking to hear something again, quite often I'd say, don't worry about it. You'll just press rewind and listen to it again. Some of the things that are like a bit more accented, if that's the right word, accentuated, that's probably a better word, accentuated in the virtual choirs. When you're recording, you'll have to have headphones on so you can't hear yourself. So sometimes your tuning goes a little bit off, so we'll talk about ways that you can sort that one out. Ends of the words need to be really, really important. Really, just as important as normal choirs. Really, really crisp. The tempo is a lot more strict, but then it's the same every time. We've recorded it now, Our backing singers recorded it. That's it. It's set in stone. That's what we have to work to. So ritenutos, rallentandos, fermatas, always the same. So for rehearsals, bring your score. If you've got a printed out paper version of the PDF, then you'll need a pencil. You might need to spend the next week working out how to scribble on your score in PDF. If you're in Apple Books or a PDF reader, various different things. If you don't know, Google, have a chat with somebody. Oh yes, there's the Facebook group run by singers. Great place if you're on Facebook or Twitter to say, how do I, da, 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 and there'll be somebody who knows and's done it. What else do you need? Well, you need YouTube and something to drink, probably, just to keep my magic bottle. This one is now green, which the last one was pink. This one is green, doesn't show up. I'll probably need to bring a pink bottle. Magic. So let's get on and do some singing, because we've done enough talking. I've done all the talking. We still will talk about how you record and how the concert works. So if you're brand new to this, those two things will come up in a bit. Let's do some singing so you can get used to me singing, get used to the piano, you can adjust your volumes at home, you get used to the quartet as well. You may prefer to rehearse and listen on headphones so you get a really nice crisp sound. If you've got speakers that you can add on to your computer, that's also really good. You'll get a better mix than if you're on just a laptop. But if you haven't, the laptop or the iPad will do. I know my iPad, I was quite surprised at the volume that comes out of it. So anything that can make your experience better, more comfy, please do. Let's do some singing. So the warm-up that I do is the same every time. So if you know this warm-up, you'll be like, it's your opportunity to get focused. It's your opportunity to get in connection with your body. Think about, how am I sitting? How is my face relaxed? Where is my tongue? What are my eyebrows doing? Is my breathing good? Have I had a drink recently? All of those things should be going through your mind as you're singing this warm-up. But before we do our arpeggios, we're just going to do some humming and some sirening, but I'm going to use that as my sort of starting pitch. And you can do this along with me, and we just go from low to high, a nice inside hum, a nice it's really cozy. And again, this time we're going to go lower and higher. Do some motorbikes. You can also do a lip trill as well, which is and a tongue trill. All of those things are really, really good for just warming up inside before you get to the humming and the ahhing, the oohing and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to start with humming, and we're going to be going down the interval of fourth, so you can sing with me and hum. 2, 3, 4. Everything, see how low you can go. I might have one left in me. it's just a dirge for me, but you might be able to be down there more comfy. Who knows? Basses and altos, definitely. We're going to go up this time. Going up a fifth. 2, 3, 4. Slide from one note to another. Now the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to hum, and then we're going to change to an ooh sound on the top note. So you go 2, 3. Next one, we're going to do the hum, the ooh, and the e sound. 2, 3, 4. And we're going to add air. The R. Now that's a top F. So for basses and altos, that's probably the top of your range. So when we do sectional rehearsals, we will adapt that and we'll push the sopranos a little bit higher, and the tenors a bit higher, and the basses and altos will go a little bit lower. Now we do this little pattern. And we're just going to do that to Lee. And we're going to flick our tongue on each one. Lee, 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 lee. And you're going to try and keep the jaw still. 3, 4. Lee, 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 and la la la, la 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 la, la 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 la. We're now going to put a skip in, so we're adding more notes. Sounds a little bit baroque. 3, 4. La 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 la. And now we're going to put all the notes in, and we're going to go, and we're doing li 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 1, 2, li 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 and la 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 la. Good. That's enough scales and things like that. We always sing a round at the beginning because I think it's a really good way of you getting to just learn something quick and concentrate on singing your harmonies. So we always do a different round each week, and this one is a request that's come back from, I think we did it, I can't remember, probably a few times ago, so I'll teach it to you all. I'm going to put the score up on the screen. It's a good old fun silly one. So here we go with round time. This is Safari Samba. Some of the time we'll sing something, an old canon from 1582, and other times we'll sing something modern. This is a round that I found on the floor once about 15 years ago, and on a scrappy bit of paper, and I thought, what is that scrappy thing? And oh, it's a round. Still don't know to this day who wrote it. But there we are. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it will get you a little bit jolly. We're going on safari, so you better get out of bed. We're going to photo the tigers while they eat our heads. The Land Rover's in the bar, so we'll take a local car. We'll take the Jaguar, you are. So, well, it doesn't make any sense at all. But it's the fact that it's a safari and samba also doesn't make sense because they're different places, aren't they? This will hopefully get you warmed up. I'm going to sing a line. You'll see some numbers up there. That's what I class as a line because that's where the different parts of the round are going to come in. I'll sing a couple of times, each one, you sing it back. And it goes like this. We're going on safari, so you better get out of bed. Your turn. We're going on safari, so you better get out of bed. One more time. We're going on safari, so you better get out of bed. We're gonna photo the tigers while they eat our heads. They're gonna photo the tigers while they eat our heads. That's quite a bouncy one. And there's a couple of bits, I was looking through the Brahms, where we've got some quite big leapy intervals. So this is good use. Let's go from the beginning. First two lines. Off we go. We're going on safari, so you better get out of bed. We're gonna photo the tigers while they eat our heads. The Land Rover's in the bar, so we'll take a local car. Let's do that one again. The Land Rover. 1, 2, 3. The Land Rover's in the bar, so we'll take a local car. This is where we do the Cornish ending. We'll take the Jaguar, or the Somerset. We'll take the Jaguar, and the oora. I've put in capitals because we can punch them out. We'll take 1, 2, 3. We'll take the Jaguar, Then you can start again on that note. Let's go from the top all the way through. And we're going on safari, so you better get out of bed. We're gonna photo the tigers while they eat our heads. The Land Rover's in the bar, so we'll take a local car. We'll take the Jaguar, There. So, we're going to sing it along now with formats. Not in a format, but with formats. Me singing all parts. You'll see the numbers at the top. We sing it through once, and then you decide whether you want to sing with mat number 1, mat number 2, mat number 3, mat number 4. Mat number 1 starts straight away, and I'll do this saying it's mat number 1. And then at the end of that first line where it says get out of bed, we're going on, group number 2 starts. And we sing it through a couple of times. If you have any shakers at home, look at that. Shakers or anything else that you go-go's to get into your samba-y sort of mood, please do join in. Just a bit of fun, but also getting your heads into some harmony. Here we go, 4 bars in. One, all together, go. We're going on safari, so you better get out of bed. We're gonna photo the tigers while they eat our heads. The Land Rover's in the bar, so we'll take a local car. We'll take the Jaguar, Group 1. We're going on safari, so you better get out of bed. 2. We're going on the tigers, so you better get our heads. 3. We're going on the tigers, so you better get our heads. 4. We're going on the tigers, so you better get our heads. We're going on the tigers, so you better get our heads. We're gonna jangle in the tigers, so you take it our heads. We're gonna jangle in the tigers, so you take it our heads. tigers, so we'll take it our cars. We'll take the land right using the tigers, so we'll take it our cars. We'll take the land right using the so we'll take a local car. We'll take the Jaguar. Marvellous. So let's go from the ridiculous to the sublime. We're now going to have a look at some of the Brahms. I'm just going to come back to my big room. I can see there's been a little discussion about the PDF, and the PDF is the version that we're using, and there are different versions out there. The one that's the PDF, which should be coming to you or has come to you, that's the one that we're going to be using, because we've got different words, etc. The one that we've got and sent out is the one that we'll be using. So we're going to look at together, first of all, we're going to just talk through the fourth movement, which I believe is probably the most well known. I certainly sang it as a wee lad, just as a separate anthem on itself. How lovely is thy dwelling place, O Lord of hosts, which is number 4. And in the PDF, it's on page 47 of 96. And in a minute, we'll listen to the choir singing it through, and you can have a sight read through or a stumble through. It really doesn't matter. But we'll just walk through it first. And when I say a walk through, I'm just sort of looking at some of the key points. And that's what we'll often do in the tutti rehearsals, is looking at all the sort of main chunks. Whereas in the individual rehearsals, we will be going through each individual line, checking all those sort of minute details of intervals, mouth shapes, dynamics, etc. So if we look at number 4, movement 4, how lovely is thy dwelling place. This movement is in 3/4, but you'll see at the top there it says con moto, which means with motion, and actually from the beginning I'll be conducting in 1, so you'll be feeling 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, that sort of thing. There is a place where we do go into 3 and we divide it up into 3, but if you can get that sort of sense of the pulse, you'll be doing very nicely. It's also got the word love in it, and love has a lovely letter at the beginning, the L. The L sound is one that you can really lean into. So we're looking at movement number 4, which is on page 47 of the PDF that's been sent out. Page 47, movement 4. Keep the questions coming, Julia. That's okay. So every time you get an L, really lean into that lovely and enjoy some of those beginnings of words. You'll also see in a lot of this, you'll see lots of the crescendo and decrescendo signs, more than any score I've noticed. Yeah, and I think it's more of an expression sort of sense, but there are some really nice long notes and long phrases that need to be coloured as we go through them. And generally speaking, there's a high point in the phrase and then it relaxes. So those are really important on that first page. There's quite a lot of this writing is homophonic writing, which means that we're all singing the same words at the same time, the same rhythm, and there are big gaps in between where we can breathe. Just a little diversion. We'll talk about breathing later, actually. We'll sing it through once, and then we'll talk about breathing. So just make sure that you do breathe early enough and not late enough. Things to look out for or circle if you can on the score. If you turn to the next page, page 48, you've got a figure A at the top there. That's a rehearsal letter A. So I might say, can we go from rehearsal letter A? Hosts, you'll notice it's only 2 beats long and then a crotchet rests. So we will be observing that, which means that the st of the word hosts happens on the 3rd beat of the bar. Hosts, 1, 2, and I will show that the shorter and smaller it is, the better. Yeah, because once we've got 100 people doing that, 200 people doing that, 300 people doing it, if we're all a bit sloppy, it's not good. So we need to be really tight on that one. There are lots of places also where he's written things like we've got in music express, which is with lots of expression, which just means enjoy yourself. And there are some gorgeous melodies in this for every part, actually. And that's what's, I think, most people really enjoy singing this in particular, because you all get some really nice tunes, which is lovely. Snakes. I've just seen Agatha. Yes, we don't want lots of hissing snakes. And that word hosts pops up a lot in this piece. What other things do I want to point out before we have a sing through? We've talked about the rests. We've talked about observing these, which is the crescendos and the decrescendos. I'm just going to draw the attention to altos, to my favourite bit of this piece, which is on page 52. If you can scroll or page turn to page 52, let us see. Oh, blessed are they that. It's the altos that have the C natural against the D flat. We don't get many of those in this piece, but when they do come, really enjoy that one. Oh, blessed are they that. Really go for it. I want to hear that alto part come out against that sopranos. And sopranos, you'll need to give your D flat a little bit of an edge as well on that one. Otherwise, the suspension won't work. If we turn over to page 53, where it says, they praise thy name evermore, that's at the point where I will then go into 3, because it then becomes really, really bouncy and a lot more movement. So we will go into 3 at that point. And at the end of the piece, on the last page, and just before the last page, if you've not sung the work before, you might think, where have all the parts gone? What happens is the soprano and the tenor sing together, and the alto and the bass work together. So they're working in tandem with each other. So there's actually almost only 2 parts for the last page, for a little chunk there, which is really lovely. So, should we have a sing from the beginning? Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, I don't know it. That's fine. That's why we're on YouTube. Yeah, that's why you can rewind. And this is just an introduction, so you get to hear our lovely quartet. Yeah, and then you've got a week before we start getting into the nitty gritty, and we will be going through the individual lines. So if you're not a sight reader and you listen by ear and just following the music, then just sit back and listen. If you're a sight reader, give it a go. Yeah, just give it a go, because you can't be wrong, because no one will know unless you're sitting there with somebody. I don't know how many of you are sitting there with partners, yeah, or mothers or daughters and that sort of thing. That would be interesting to know. How many of you are just on your own? How many might be working with somebody? I know some people are working with a daughter or a son, but in different parts of the country. That's always very interesting. But it's good fun, isn't it? So, go back to the beginning, back to page 47. I'm going to take a little swig with my magic bottle. There. And we're going to sing through from the beginning. You'll hear the piano and all 4 voices at an even balance. Are we ready? Let's go for it.
Oh
wonderful, wonderful sound, isn't it? Yes, there are some high notes that we'll need to work on. I know. Some top A flats and things like that for sopranos and tenors. We'll talk about more of some little tips and ideas that may help in your sectional rehearsals on that one. How to get round, navigate the shapes of your mouth and things like that to enable you to get the best sound that you can. What I wanted to talk about just very briefly, and some of you may remember this right way back if you joined us for the Mozart, I think it was, I was talking about breathing, and in particular on this piece, many of the entries, nearly all of them, start with an anacrusis. An anacrusis is an upbeat, so we go, how lovely, da da, so there's always this up, and if we're not careful, we forget to breathe in the we forget to breathe, or we breathe in the wrong place. I just want to share very briefly a couple of slides to keep in your mind, in particular in this piece, because the anacrusis leaves you less time psychologically for breath. So I'm just going to share a couple of little pictures with you. It looks a bit graphy, that's fine. Graphy, giraffe. This is a graph. Along the bottom is time, along where I am here. This is time of a musical phrase. And at the bottom on the axis over the side here, we've got empty, you've got no breath, and at the top you've got maximum breath. What generally happens if you breathe too late, if I've got the wrong one there, that's what we want, there. You take in a breath very, very quickly, and then you go, oops, I need to sing, ah! And the sound just goes, yeah? And also, you have this pinnacle, this there's an edge. That's because you've breathed too late and it all runs out really quick. So that's what we don't want to do, is breathe too late. If you breathe early, you can see, look, nice steady breath, but then you breathe too early and you hold it and you hold it, and then you sing, it's that, and it comes out. And again, we have an edge. We don't want that one. Okay, so what we want is this, and doesn't that look more beautiful, yeah, and relaxing? And everyone's first little chunk there is going to be a different amount depending on how much you want to breathe and where, but I'm going to suggest that most of the time we leave it too late, and that you need to mark in where you're going to breathe. And sometimes you'll see me go, which is like, don't forget to breathe and sing. And so the sound goes, ah, and it just falls out of a really relaxed, natural motion. None of this, or, so shoulders relax, and it just comes in and out comes the sound, like you do with talking. So there. That was just a little bit of a quick look at some breathing ideas. So if I talk about the arc of breathing, this is the slide that I've been talking about. Brilliant. How are we doing for time? Good. Let's go and have a sing through one other movement. We're going to go right back to the beginning. Go right back to the beginning of number one. And we won't talk through this one. We're just going to sing it through. This one is a lot longer, and you'll get to realise, if you're new to this work, that the works are a lot longer. Good. Little discussion going on about, yes, the change from German to the English. I'm sure that you will adapt. You will adapt. And remember, in the concert, it'd be great. You'll be able to watch it 3 times. Why 3 times? One, first time live, I'm going to suggest you all just bring your scores and you sing along. Sing with your sounds of 100, 200 singers. Number 2, you could then watch it again and just listen. Just listen. Put your headphones on. Listen to the glorious sound that you make. And number 3, don't watch the conductor. Watch the signer, because it adds another level of understanding, not only in English, but with the signing as well. Some gorgeous, gorgeous bits of signing, and we'll talk about more later. Go back to the beginning. Let's have a look at the opening. The opening, number 1, Blessed Day, and we shall go all the way through from beginning to end. Sight reading if it's the first time you've ever sung it. It lasts about 9 minutes, I think, this movement, or maybe 7, can't remember. It's not one of the longest ones, but you'll see that we've got a lot of work to do in the rehearsals. Here we go, from the beginning, number 1, Blessed They. There we go. Some gorgeous soaring lines for all the different parts, isn't it? It's really lovely. Yeah, it's just woo, soaring, some of those lines. Some of the intervals and things are not that particularly tricky or anything like that, so it's quite readable. There's a few places where you have the enharmonic changes where you think you're singing a D flat and then suddenly, oh, that D flat's a C sharp, and you've got to get your head round those sort of things where the whole harmony has just gone and just rotated around a pivot point. And Brahms does that a lot in the harmony, where you think you're singing the third of the chord and then suddenly that becomes the tonal centre of the next bar and things like that. He really is gorgeous. I'm glad you like that. It's a lovely, lovely sound from that quartet as well, which is great. So we're nearing the end. Just need to sort of catch up with some of those people that are brand new to this to explain how we record and a little bit more about the concert, and then we can take lots and lots and lots of questions. So on how to record, and we really do encourage you to record whatever you think that your voice is. It will be great. It will go into the mix of the choir. You will need some headphones, and you'll probably need at least 2 devices, something to play and something to record, unless you're a whiz and you can do some stuff on one computer. And there are lots of different options, and this is where this chat is really, really good. And also, if you can get into the Facebook group, please join it. That's where you can ask all those questions. What do you do with your headphone? Where do you place that? What do you do? Oh, I've got an iPhone. Because there's a myriad of different versions out there. I'm glad that even Susan's cat loved that bit of music, which is great. Huzzah for the cat. So you will need all that that bit of equipment. There will be a video that is already available on the YouTube channel on how to record, and it's me stepping you through how to record, how to upload your music and all that sort of thing. So the technical aspects are there in the video for you to stop, do a little bit, press play, stop, do a little bit, and all of that sort of thing. Facebook and Twitter is there, and the YouTube channel, really, really, really useful. The links that come out with the red marker, remember, that will come from Nick. That there will be emails coming from Nick, and not trying to tell grannies to suck eggs or whatever the expression is, but if you've got an email program and you've got folders that you can create, It's really handy to create a Run by Singers folder, and then when you've got your email, just slide it in there, and then they're all in the same place. That's one suggestion. I think you can even put PDFs into there, so when you get the link, the table, put it in there. If you've got an iPhone or an iPad, you can save the PDFs and the scores and the links into Pages, apparently. So all of that, some useful little tips there. But just try and be as organised as you can and use the support of the others to help you. Nick is really, really good at sending and supporting all of you. But if 250 people all ask for individual advice, it's not going to happen. So really do use the support of those other places if you can. Great to be with you again, Angela. It's lovely. And the words do fit beautifully. Which leads me on to the concert, really. Just a little bit of chat about the concert. When you've submitted all your singing, our wonderful engineers mush all those voices together and the accompaniment. And on the night of the concert, please dress up. I will be dressing up and sing along and enjoy the majesty of this piece. I will be conducting on screen. You'll be able to hear the soloist, you'll be able to see the soloist, and also watch the signing. So, I'm going to finish now. Well, I'm going to give you 2.5 minutes if you've got any other questions. I'm going to not play you a piece of Brahms to finish. I'm going to play you a song that I recorded earlier on this year, last year actually, in lockdown. It's a song written by a lady called Mary Bourne, and it's called Do You Hear My Voice? And it's actually signed by Paul Whitaker, who is the chap who will be signing us. So this is a recording I did with a mixture of community choirs. It's over 100 voices from all over the UK and a couple of voices from Australia as well. And the words are Do You Hear My Voice? Which was quite apt for the time when absolutely no singing was going on. But I'd just like to share that song with you so you can watch Paul work his magic and see how this English text that we will be singing, people will be able to hear, and those who won't be able to hear the text but will be able to feel the vibrations of the music and watch Paul work on his magic. And you will also be able to learn just a couple of simple signs, and you might be worried about this. Watch this, and there will be bits that you go, I could learn that, I could do that. So this is Do You Hear My Voice? You've got 2.5 minutes to watch that and write any questions. I will come back and then say goodbye, but if you want to go now, you're more than welcome, but you might miss out on a very important question that someone has. So this is Do You Hear My Voice? Signed by Paul Whitaker and conducted by Mary Bourne, who wrote the piece, and it's mixed and edited and orchestrated by me. Here we go.
Do you hear my voice? Do you hear my voice? Do you hear my voice? Do you hear my voice singing soft and low? Yesterday has passed, tomorrow still unknown. Let your voice resound, singing
hope you enjoyed that song. It's not something that we would be doing, but it's great to just see some of the signs, and I love watching it. I've done a couple of other bits of music with, not with Paul, but with somebody else who does some Macathon with a group of singers who are adults with learning difficulties, and to watch them join in is great. So it will be a really inclusive concert, which is something that I'm really chuffed about. I'm really glad that Nick went, yeah, this sounds like a really good idea. So there'll be the signing, and we're doing it in English. So anybody should be able to enjoy this gorgeous piece of music. And doing those couple of bits of signs would be great. Nice to see in the comments here that people are getting their head round doing it in English, which is good. Fiona has also put in the comments, don't forget we have the Duruflé concert on Saturday. If you're, again, brand new to Run by Singers, we have a concert of the work that we've recorded and we've sung earlier on this year, Brahms Requiem. So if you'd like to come along to that, please contact Nick for the details. And it's on this Saturday evening. We meet at 7:30 as a group, as a choir, and for 15 minutes to warm up, and then at 7:45 is the concert, and that's where we sing along with ourselves, and we find out what a wonderful choir we have been. I'm glad that was an uplifting morning, and I hope it helped. Some of you were doing some painting while it was happening. It's the joy of YouTube. Hopefully that's given you an introduction into what to expect, what the choir sounds like, what I'm like, what the warm-ups will be, what it's like chatting with people. There's little evidence there of the concert. However, if you want to see any of the other Run by Singers concerts, there are some on the YouTube channel. So do go to YouTube below and click on the subscribe button, and any other videos that get put on, which is not very often, you get a little notification that it's there. But I think you can look at the Mozart concert, which is our first one we did way back, Christmas time, which was fabulous. And the CDs are there, and the MP3s are there to download as well. So there's Mozart's Requiem, we've done Vivaldi's Requiem, we've done John Rutter's Gloria, Vivaldi's Gloria, and Duruflé Requiem. So this is our 6th work, which is fantastic. So do come along to that concert. Hope you have the link. If you haven't got the link, I'm sure just before as well, Nick will be sending out reminders of that concert. Just got to get today over. I'm glad some of you have worked out on the lungs, and remember, you can watch this again if you want to get if you want to listen to the tutti of How Lovely Are the Dwellings Fair and that first one, Blessed They. It's going to be there, so you can always click on that link and go back to it and watch it. Agatha, yes, click on a like as well. Do give us a like. More likes the better. So at the moment there are no other questions popping in, which must mean I've done my job pretty good, and that you haven't got any other questions that I can answer. Remember, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, and you can have a chat with other Run by Singers there and share your photographs perhaps. We've seen photographs of people singing and singing with their cats, singing in a view, and all those sort of things. So please do share. If you have any friends that have come today, no, not friends that have come today, if you have any friends who you know would like to enjoy this experience, obviously there is still time, because this was an introduction. You've now got another week, so please do tell people about it, and that they can join in. And it's a great opportunity to be part of a magnificent work, and a sort of an accessible work in the way that we're doing it as well, which I'm really chuffed about. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave you there because I can't see any more questions, and I will see you all next week on either Tuesday or Wednesday in the sectional, or Friday in the tutti rehearsal. So, a quick question: what am I having for lunch? If it's warm outside, which it looks through my window here, I will be having a salad. The beans on toast has now gone into the cupboard for cold days. Definitely salads. All right. Take care, and it was lovely to see lots of names there that I recognise, and hopefully I'll be seeing some of you in Bath as well when you come to Bath. Woo, that's coming up soon as well. Great stuff. Take care.